Hello and welcome back to Best Bets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, alongside Newsday's Joe Maniello. Joe, how's it going?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It was a very fun weekend of divisional round football last week. You had a good week, 3-1. I went 2-2, and well, it was that final game that was the difference.
Yeah, it was a great game. Still can't believe how great that was.
Absolutely. So let's hop into the picks for the championship round. Obviously, only two games remain. We're going to start with the AFC. The Chiefs are favored by 7 over the Cincinnati Bengals. What do you think?
Yeah, the first thing I thought after, just going through that crazy overtime game was the first thought I had was, there's no way the Chiefs are not winning next week. And can you see them losing this game? This is their year to get back to the Super Bowl after last year's dud. You win a game like that, 36-33, with 13 seconds left, and kick the field goal. I mean, the Bills, everyone's talking about overtime and the coin toss. The Bills, the game should have ended right there. When the Chiefs tied the game, they should have said, Bills, you're done. Game's over. You shouldn't let them tie the game. No overtime. Chiefs win. I can't believe they let them tie the game.
Yep.
So to me, I don't see how the Bengals, Bengals are a great story. I actually picked against them last week. I talked myself into taking the Titans, even though before the playoffs started, I liked the Bengals. But Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. The Titans made a ton of mistakes. That's not going to work against the Chiefs. And I think, some people on Twitter were like, "Oh, why can't the Bengals beat them?" They just beat them in Week 17. To me, that was the worst thing that could have happened to the Bengals. They went out there, they came back from a 28-17 halftime deficit and won 34-31. Jamar Chase had like a record-setting day, over 250 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Burrow had over 400 yards. It's all there. It's all on tape now. Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, his defense, they can see everything that they did wrong, and there's no more element of surprise for the Bengals. So they just played. If this happened in Week 2, maybe it's a little bit different, but Week 17 was like a month ago, not even. So for me, that totally works against them. It helps the Chiefs. I just don't see them going into Arrowhead. They've hosted the AFC title game there. This is the 4th year in a row. That's a record. Mahomes is 2-1 in those games. And he's 8-2 in the playoffs. His only losses, I said it last week, his only 2 losses in the playoffs are against Tom Brady in that title game a few years ago when they didn't get the ball in overtime, similar to the Bills. Now they're on the other side of that. And when they lost to Brady last year in the Super Bowl with the Bucs. So if he's not going up against Brady, I'm betting Mahomes. And I just don't see them losing. They got too many weapons. They've been there before. Bengals are a great story. They'll be back, but not this year. I think it's a close game in the first half, but I think the Bengals, the Chiefs pull away in the second, third quarter, fourth quarter, and I think it's one of those games where you watch the whole game and then you see the final score and you're like, wow, the game wasn't, it was a closer game. But I think the Chiefs win by 2 touchdowns. So I got 38-24 Chiefs.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to ride the Bengals hype and take them +7. I don't think they win the game, but I think there's going to be a close game. Just right now, the Bengals, both teams are playing good, but the Bengals are, they won 6 in a row, they've won 6 in a row against the spread. On the road as underdogs this year, they're 5-1. They've been one of the best teams against the spread all year. For me, the Chiefs have been kind of hard to gauge for me against the spread all year. They've been up and down, especially on the bigger numbers, and I like that I'm getting a touchdown here. If it was anything probably less than a touchdown, I'd probably lean towards the Chiefs, but I think you're looking at like a 4-point game, maybe like a 34-30. I think it'll be high scoring, back and forth, and I think the Bengals are one of the few teams that could go, punch for punch offensively with this Chiefs team. The Bengals, they have a ton of weapons as well. They have, Chase, who had the best rookie year out of, anybody in the league, and maybe best out of a wide receiver ever off of Justin Jefferson's big year last year. T. Higgins, who you just drafted the year before that. Obviously, Joe Mixon's a really good running back, and you have, weapons at tight end also, but I think offensively they have enough, and while I agree that yes, they were able to beat them the first time in Week 17, and the Chiefs have some stuff on tape, I still don't really trust the Chiefs defense, and I think the Bengals are going to be able to score enough to keep it close. So I'll take the Chiefs 34-30, but I think the Bengals cover here.
Okay.
As for the NFC, 49ers, Rams are favored by 3.5. Who do you like?
Yeah, for me, it's from a picks perspective, this is a dream matchup for me. Before the year, you and I both picked the Rams over the Chiefs in Super Bowl, and before the playoffs started, I picked the Chiefs over the 49ers. So, assuming the Chiefs win at 3 o'clock, I'm in a good spot here because no matter what, I'll get one of those picks right. I'm going to go with the Niners here. It seems like everyone's picking the Rams. I think they're still underestimating how good this 49ers team is. Think about it. They won last week's game without even scoring an offensive touchdown. That just shows you how complete the team is on all three facets of the defense, special teams. I think they're a well-coached team, and they've owned the Rams here. Kyle Shanahan, they're 6-0 against the Rams in the last 6 meetings over the last 3 seasons. And a lot of people say, "Oh, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season." I get that, but there's something about the way they play, and they played in Week 18, and Niners were down 17-0 in that game, and they came back to win in overtime. Just an amazing win, and just watching that game, I was like, "Wow." The team, reminiscent of the 2011 Giants that made the Super Bowl run. That's why I picked them to win 3 road games the same way. Something about this team. They have, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, all these the star players who don't get enough recognition. And Nick Bosa and Arik Armstead, the defensive line, they played great last week. Packers scored on their first drive. They didn't score the rest of the game at snowy Lambeau. I think about it. The Packers were undefeated at home. Just a great win. And I think they're an underrated team. And to me, it's all about, similar to last week, all the pressure is on Rodgers, right? He never wins these games against the Niners. They lose a lot as a 1 seed. All the pressure now is on the Rams. They're home. Are they going to go 0-3 against the rival? They have the Super Bowl in their home stadium. So all the pressure is on the Rams here. And I don't know if Matthew Stafford's up for it. He's never been in this spot before. I just like that the Niners have had their number. He threw 2 picks in both of the losses this year. The first one was a blowout on Monday night, and we talked about the last one in the final game of the season. I just like the way the 49ers are playing, and I also think it's a little overblown about Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he's obviously not a top 10 quarterback, but as long as he doesn't throw like a costly pick, like he did last week in Green Bay, which wound up not hurting them because they blocked the field goal. As long as he doesn't make a really egregious error, I think they're going to win this game, and I think he's better than people think. They were there 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, and I think they get back. I think we get a rematch of Super Bowl 2 years ago, 49ers and Chiefs. So give me the 49ers outright. And I'm going to go with the same score from Week 18. Niners 27, Rams 24.
All right. I am one of those who are on the Rams, and I've doubted the 49ers every step of the way, so I'm not changing now. I'm going to use that narrative that you teased earlier with beating a team 3 times. And how difficult that is. Just last year, the Saints played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first round, division rival. Saints got them both times during the regular season, and then lost the game at home to the wild card Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So actually, it was a divisional round, but the story remains the same. I think the Rams, obviously, first time blowout looked really bad. Second time, closer, overtime loss. But this time, I think they get the job done at home. I agree. I think there's a ton of pressure on them, but I also think there's been a ton of pressure on them every step of the way here in the playoffs with the high expectations, before the year, bringing in Stafford, big time move there. And then you bring in Odell and Von Miller. It seems like they're trying to build a super team. So I feel like they've been dealing with pressure every step here. So while, I agree, the Rams definitely have, the bigger spotlight on them, they've gotten the job done so far. I understand that they've struggled in the Sean McVay era against the 49ers, especially over the last 3 years, but I'm going to stick with it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, so I'm taking the Rams. I think it'll be a good game, but I think in the end, the Rams end up pulling away and win something like 27-20, something like that.
Okay.
All right, so it's just those 2 games. So a little quick one. In the first game in the AFC, I like the Bengals +7. Joe is on the Chiefs -7. I like the Rams -3.5. And Joe is on the 49ers +3.5. Any feel for which one of the 2 would be a best bet if you had to pick one, or not really?
Well, I mean, I guess I take the Chiefs. I took them the first 2 weeks just because I feel like you said earlier in the year, I can never figure them out because they haven't been great against the spread because usually they're favored by so many points, and sometimes I overthink it. So I was just like, just take the Chiefs, and they covered easily against the Steelers, and then they got semi-lucky to cover against the Bills when they should have lost that game probably at the end. But I guess I go with the Chiefs, but I feel pretty good about the Niners too.
All right, there you go.
How about you?
I'd probably take the Bengals getting the points.
Okay.
I'm not super confident in either. I think both games are going to be, pretty good games here. So I guess I'll take the underdog and it being a little bit of a closer game than the Chiefs winning by more than a touchdown. But, as we said at the top, I don't think we're going to be able to beat last weekend, but hopefully we have a couple fun games here on Sunday.
Yeah, it should be good.
Absolutely. So thank you as always, Joe, and we'll talk in a couple weeks to preview the Super Bowl.
All right, Matt. Thank you.